Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. More, hate less, read comics. It's Blake's Buzz Live.
Buzz, buzz, babies.
Hey, buzz, ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday. You guys know I like Thursdays because tomorrow's Friday. And then after that, it's the weekend, even though when you're freelance, what the hell is a weekend anymore, right? But it's still Saturday still feels, right? Anyways, I am very, very excited about tonight's guest. Y'all know, I know most of you know him. He's been on a few times before. He's always a good time. Like to interview, not like sexually. You know what? I'm sure that is the case. I'm watching his face in the green room. I can't believe I just said that. I'm sober. I haven't been drinking lately. This is me. I just get weirder and weirder. Anyways, without further ado, the man behind some of my favorite, most hilarious comics. I got Mr. Steve Urena in the house. What's up, baby?
What's up, man? How you doing? Buzz,
Dude,
babies,
I'm
ladies
doing
and
good.
gentlemen.
I'm doing good. Before we talk about your comics, I kind of want to talk about this summer of Steve.
Oh, yes.
You've been on some awesome adventures. You've gone to every concert, tons of baseball games, sports games, like with friends in cool places. Like you had a hell of a vacation. Like how did what decided, like what's special about this year? Or did you just have the time and what all happened here?
So Summer Steve is a yearly thing. I get busy a lot during the January till May months. So once summer comes, I'm a June baby. I'm a Gemini. So once June 1st rolls around, I've always said, even from when I was like in college, I was like, June 1st begins summer, and I just want to do as much as possible. Since coming back from the pandemic, it's just been like I just want to go outside. I just want to be out there and doing everything. And luckily, living in Connecticut, I'm right in the hub. So I can go hang out in Connecticut. I can go hang out in the New England area. I could go hang out in New Jersey, where my family is. I can go hang out in New York and see some concerts or see some comedy shows. So I've been very lucky to, go with my girlfriend, go with my friends, and just get out there. So I definitely, everybody says like for the nerds like me to touch grass. I was touching grass all summer. I did as much as I could, and I'm still going strong. And we're gonna get into the fall of Urena, which is FU.
I like that. I like that. I'm a fall baby. I'm almost was a Halloween baby. It's October 27th is
Oh, nice.
me. But yeah, I just I don't hate outside, and I got the new puppy, right? And so like but it's so hot. Even Bruce doesn't want to go outside. Bruce goes out and he's like, no, fuck this. But it's yeah, it's I've been living vicariously through your post, man, because it's you know I have a good group of friends, right? But everybody's got kids except me, right? And so they're all at like kids sporting events and school stuff, and it's like it's not as fun as the summer of Steve.
Well, you can't turn those events into fun evenings. You just start going like with a sign and stop painting your face, like you know what I mean. Just make it like a tailgate.
Just get hammered.
Yeah, just get hammered. Do what you got to do. But yeah, it's been a great summer. And just I love summer because I get to relax, I get to hang out, and I feel like that's when I get to come out with my comics too. Like I just get to like hang out and have fun, and just this is my vacation. Comics are my vacation, and summer is always my favorite season. So I want to bring the two together.
Nice, which you are. You've got Foul Mouth live right
That's
now,
right.
and you got about 20 something days left. You're sitting at 50%, and you run longer campaigns than
Yes.
most people. You do is that hard? Like, or is it more stressful or less stressful to give yourself more time, but also to like that's double the time of engagement, double the time of trying to find shows and podcasts and doing like I feel like it could go like a little bit of both ways, right? Like it
Yeah.
helps because it's not as fast paced, but
Mhm.
then it's more. Like it's
So for me, comics, like I know a lot of writers that I've listened to interviews, they get stressed out when it comes to Kickstarters. For me, I love it so much. Like it's really not stressful for me. I love, talking about the comic. I love doing it for me, it's like a fight. You know what I mean? It's like a fight and I'm trying to get this thing funded. And it's like, what do I have to do to get this funded? I will hustle, I'll do what I need to do. I'll if marketing is not working, it's like, all right, what could I do to figure this out? So it's a lot of trial and error, figuring out what works, what doesn't work. This is a different comic for me because it's not horror. So it's finding those sites, finding those pages, finding those podcasts that work within the framework of superheroes. And I got to say, it is a little bit harder, but I love the longer campaigns just because it gives me enough time to breathe and to not put too much pressure on myself and to just figure out what's working and what's not working and going from there.
nice. We got some people saying hi in the chat. I'm gonna shout, what's up, Ronan? Ronan's coming from across the world. He's over in Australia, so he's a time jumper. It's already tomorrow for him. What's a good morning, buddy? We got Gareth. What's up, dude? Thanks for tuning in again. What's up, Sarah? So glad Sarah's coming back on the show. I got Sarah. I will. I'm gonna get you a link. I'm so sorry. I keep spacing out, but I will get you that scheduling link so you guys can pick a day and time. I haven't forgot about you. I swear. I mean, I did for a second, but then I remembered. It's on my list. But yeah, it's very it's very different, and it's I like that it doesn't stress you out. But also like I wish it did because that's why people hire me. It's like let them know how stressful it is to do it all on your own, Steve. No, I'm just kidding. But it's different for some people, right?
Yeah,
Like some people really like it. Some people, well, obviously everybody, you gotta love it to get
yeah,
on
you gotta love it to
Kickstarter
do
to
it.
promote yourself to make comics that way. But it does get a little stressful for some people, especially now with how like social media is changing. There's
Yeah.
all these new
Social media
platforms.
is all types of fucked right now. So it's it's it's
Yeah.
it's a little crazy. Especially with all the rebrands and like where are people going. I'm still trying to find out where those people are. Because I'm sure there's
Mhm.
more people that would love to see foul mouth, but it's definitely more disjointed and figure and navigating that is very tough, especially now for comic creators.
Yeah. I know you're on the blue sky now. But like anything any like helpful tidbits or anything to anyone out there like trying to figure out
Sure.
this new age
My
social.
my thing is always just do what you want to see. Like if you were going, like what's going to make you buy something? Like what is it like for Zombie Date Night? I did the movie premiere stuff every week. For Ex Machina, I did like Christmas cards. So as long as it aligns with your comic and it's fun and it's something that people will get have fun with, I think that's where your winner, where your backers are. But yeah, as long as you put love in your work and you're having fun and you're telling people about it, and that's the one thing about the marketing of the comic is if you don't tell anybody about it, you're not gonna find that you're not gonna find that audience. So I've been my favorite thing right now is like the horror sites are a lot easier to break through to because they'll take anything. They're very open about stuff. The
Mhm.
superhero stuff and like it's been a lot tougher. I got
Yeah.
I emailed the website and I was like, hey, would you mind like, maybe we could do an interview or I'll send press release, whatever it needs to be done. And they're like, oh, we're gonna pass. In my mind, I'm like, they could have just not emailed me back. Instead, they're like, no, fuck you. So,
Yeah.
but that stuff it's fun and it's just figuring it out and it's okay. Listen, it's a learning experience and I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid for any of that because failing is learning. So
Mhm.
for people who are doing their Kickstarters, just tell the world as many times as you can. Have fun with it, and
Yeah.
boost other creators too, because like we're all in this together. It's not a competition. It's not that I know you posted that thing where it's like comics will break your heart or comics it's not worth it. It is fucking
Mhm.
worth it. It is
Yeah.
absolutely worth it because you made something. You put it out into the world. How many people can say that they've done that? I think that's
Yeah.
very bad. That's just negative. That's just a negative thing. Oh, it's not worth it. It's like, then what made you do comics in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, you're here to have fun and you're here to create. So create.
Yeah. I like that you mentioned like that you're not afraid of failure because I'm reading this book on marketing, and one of the best things in it, it's got a lot of great information. It's called This Is Marketing. But it one of it was like, failure isn't necessarily failing, right?
Yeah,
Like, you're gonna fail, you're gonna
yeah,
come up with these game plans, you're gonna come
exactly.
up with these strategies. Some are gonna work, some aren't, but when one does fail, when one doesn't, what that does is it sends you back to the war table, right?
Yeah,
And so, like, a failure is just like something to know next time that
absolutely.
isn't working, right? And it makes you constantly, so and the way the writer talks about it is, it's like you almost want to fail, right?
Yeah,
You want to fail, you want to keep your brain working, you want to keep hustling, keep striving, keep trying to find those corners, those little nooks and crannies that you can invade, and make a change, and sell your product, right? And so,
absolutely.
like, I like that's one of the things that I've been learning, because it's when, with my recent journey, and like, I'm still doing podcasting and stuff, obviously. But even when I started podcasting, man, it was scary. And when I started live streaming, it was scary, because it was like, there's no more edit button, right?
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
it's all Blake all the
Do it
time, man.
live.
But it's you got to get past that eventually. You just got to be like, you got to have faith in yourself,
Yeah,
and your
absolutely. I
your
mean,
personality and your brand, and put it out there.
one thing that's helped, I read a book by Tim Ferriss, Tools of Titans, and Tools of Titans is a great, um, it's a great book where it's not trying to sell you anything. It's just like, hey, we interviewed successful people, we asked them what their routines are, and that's it. Like, maybe it'll work
Hmm.
for you, maybe it won't, but at least you could listen to it and see if it works for you. So there's this
Yeah.
thing in the book called fear setting, where you write down your absolute, let's say you're marketing a comic. What's your absolute worst fear about marketing this comic? Oh, nobody will buy. Oh, this or that. You write down the most ridiculous thing, the most fearful thing that you could have, and then you read it to yourself, and then you realize, you know what? This is ridiculous. Like, you make it crazy. You're like, oh, I get eaten by wolves. I can do this, and then you read it to yourself, and you start to wonder, like, you know what? It's not going to get to this point. So you got to keep going and keep moving forward.
Nice, nice. I like that too. It's all about staying. It's hard sometimes to stay
Oh,
stay
it's
positive.
definitely hard.
I
Indie
mean,
comic.
even me. You guys saw me get. I when I saw that creator, like what Steve was talking about how, like, it's not worth the effort to talk to press, and it put me in a big funk, and like, just because, like, it's, you try and you try and you try, and you put this stuff out there, and you write reviews, and no one's paying you to write reviews, no one's paying you to do these live streams, and like, people are paying me to do some of the marketing stuff I'm doing, but that's different. And it was just like, I won't name drop who it was, but it
Yeah,
was a name that most comic fans would recognize, and I was just like, not only was it a bummer to hear that writer say that, but, like, he's got a big following. And so a
yeah.
lot of people are going to look at him and say that, and be like, oh, maybe I don't have to waste time on press. Maybe I don't have to waste time on interviews, and that's important to platforms like mine. Like, I love showcasing indie books. I love getting, new indie people on here. First time Kickstarter people, like, I love doing that. But it also helps the channel grow when I can, like, when I interviewed David Mack, or when I interviewed Saladin Ahmed, and those guys, gave me the time of their day to come on the show. More people tune in. Well, then you get more subscribers. Then more people tune in when you get the newcomers on, right? And so I think a healthy balance, a nice buzzed balanced breakfast or whatever, like, it's good for everybody. And so, yeah, it's when you get a platform, and you drop hot takes like that, it definitely, there are definite consequences, right? And
Yeah.
so, and I
I
am
mean,
glad a lot of people in the community reached out, and they were like, "Dude, most of us don't think like that.
yeah.
It's like, we do like doing interviews, and it's like, we do recognize that press is hell, so that made me feel good. But yeah, it was weird. I just kicked me in the balls, man. And then I got mad, because I let
Let it
it
get to
put
you.
me in a mood, right? And I was like, man, that's because, that's not, most people that know me know that's not what I like to stay positive. I like to, I'm upbeat, I'm fun, I'm happy, I love comics, and, but yeah, so like comics will sometimes break your heart, and that
But
they
it's
never permanently break it. You can always come
yeah.
back from
But it's worth it because you're giving people a platform who have never gotten that platform before,
Yeah.
and that means a lot to people like me. It means a
Yeah.
lot to people like that are out there. So listen, everybody's running their own race. Everybody's doing the best that they can. But for somebody to make a comment like that like it's not worth it, it's like it is worth it. It exists. It's journal. Everything's changing. Everything's changing every day. So the horrible news with that CBR stuff, like that's terrible too.
Oh my God.
But
Yeah.
I think you know what I'm. Everybody wants to be negative. Everybody wants to be closed off. I want to change that. I want to be the most positive man in comics. So let's figure that
Yeah.
out.
And
Let's
it,
do it.
it
Let's
it's
make stuff happen.
you sleep better, you
Yeah,
wake better. It's
yeah,
your day's better when like even my old job when I hated my job, man, because I was on the phone all the time and I was like, if I make myself smile and when you smile and you talk, you can hear it, right? And
that's
then
absolutely right. That's what I learned in
and if you want to like frown in every call, you're just like,
radio.
hi, how can I help you? Fuck my life. And like that is toxic. That impacts your day, and you can fight that by still don't like your job, but you kind of trick yourself into hating it a little bit. Right? So
But if you're creating, if you're making stuff, if you're making your own show, you know how many people don't, have that thought and don't do it? The
yeah,
people that do it, that's a whole other lane. So
yeah,
don't even worry about that stuff. Like just do what you can and just have fun. Like this is fun. Comics are fun. It doesn't need to be stressful, doesn't need to be crazy. Just have fun with it.
yeah. Yeah, I think people forget that, and that's resonating in the chat too. We'll bring that up. Gary Proudly, what's up, dude? Another
Oh, Gary
another
Bradley's a good
awesome
dude. Everybody,
another
everybody on
Australian.
here is great.
We got Sons of Mjolnir in the house. They're the ones who just said a refreshing take. Fun is what these books are all about. But yeah, like let's see. Thank you, Sarah. She appreciates the show. Chatting with you and Cody from Keeping It Geeky. That's awesome. And that was so fun. I remember Sarah being so nervous. She was like, I haven't really done any show before, and I was like, it's fine. I was like, I'll talk.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at talking to people, right? So like, I can
Yeah.
I can get you out of your shell. But yeah, we ended up having a great time. They had a great campaign, and they're about to start another one. What's up, David is on. Thanks so much for tuning in, baby. Um, let's see. What's this? No
No
fun,
fun.
only the
Only
rest.
bleak.
It's not all Nottingham, David.
Not Bleak Buzz, it's Blake's Buzz. You should do that. That'd be a good April Fool's episode where it's like
Bleak's
Bleak
buzz.
Buzz, and it's like a gray logo, and like the B is just like
Super sad.
yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. I did was this last April Fools. I came out and I was like, and no one bought it, but I was like, I've been really getting into manga, and I
Mhm.
came out on April Fools, and I was like, I'm gonna switch to manga coverage and kind of leave the comic scene. Everybody was like, yeah, good one. And I was like, damn it. But also I was like, it was a joke, but like I love manga and I've
Manga's
thought
great.
about like it's
The fact that like the comic discourse is so negative, it's like, well, you got to pick a side. It's like I don't have to pick a side for anything.
yeah,
Like I like
all
I like
it's
all
all
comics.
sequential.
Anything with a good story, I'm into. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't believe that, and I know they're different, and I know like culturally there's a
Yeah.
big difference
And
between
of
like
course, there's
but
apples and oranges. If I like both, like why not?
yeah,
Why does
yeah,
it do that?
it's all fruit. You throw some
Yeah,
grapes in there too.
exactly.
There's a cantaloupe somewhere, like there's something for everybody. But
Yeah.
no, it's yeah, I'll have to remember that the sad show one day. Just to see what
Bleak.
watch my numbers like skyrocket.
Oh my god, this emo show is great. Bleak's Buzz just
It'll
taking these
it'll be like
interviews.
that lackadaisy show where there was 170 people in the chat, and I was like, I don't even know what to do. I was like, I started saying hi to people, and there's just hundreds of comments. I was like, I can't. We're ignoring the chat today, ladies and gentlemen. Which mostly people that follow me know I ignore the chat half the time anyway. I'm trying to get better at it, but yeah, it's uh, I like Gary agree. It's Nottingham is fun bleak. Yeah, it is. The same with Monomyth. Monomyth's pretty dark too. And I love about David. David is like he's so happy and lively and fun, and he writes some really dark, twisted shit. And Steve, I keep waiting for you to do the same, right? Because
Yes.
you're even when you get like horror and like and it's bloody and it's violent and like some of the stuff you do, there's still so much humor behind it, and that's very much like it's very much you and your brand. And I keep waiting for like the serious Urena tale, right? Like I know it's gonna be coming, and it'll probably be fucking insanely good, right? Like you'll get like Ringo nominations and shit for it or something. Like
Maybe
it'll be
maybe one day we'll see. We'll see about that. It's always funny when people are like, "Oh, you should nominate, get nominated for Ringo." I was like, nobody knows who the fuck I am. Nobody, nobody, not right now. Maybe one day, but it's like also when you're doing those, you're explaining what the comics about, and like I've been on other podcasts and people are talking to like Neil Gaiman and Jamie Lee Curtis or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I got the superhero who gets her powers from cursing. So it's, but I love it. I wear it as a badge of honor.
Yeah. So speaking of badge of honor, I got the I'm wearing
Slowpoke
the
t-shirt,
sloth.
very nice,
I
awesome.
got the slow pokes going on today. Yeah, it's I love this shirt, man. It's everywhere when you wear it, people are always like, "What the fuck?"
The
And
fuck
it's
is that?
like
Yeah, it's awesome.
I think and a lot of times they think it's a movie too. Right? Oh, is that like the new Cocaine Bear? I'm like, no, it's a comic book. Like, it's,
That's awesome. Thank you.
um,
Thank you for promoting. Every time somebody wears that shirt, it's always promoting. And now I still get sloth gifts every
nice.
Christmas. So or like from people randomly. So like somebody got a art commissioned where I look like the Tiger King, but it's me with sloths. So it's a sloth thing. So I'll have to post that picture at some point soon.
Good, you should. Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I guess let's go ahead and we've been talking for a little bit. Let's go ahead. Let's bring up this Kickstarter page here.
Sure.
So all right, this is Foulmouth,
That's right.
superhero who gets her powers from cursing, which is bullshit because I curse a lot and nothing good has ever happened to me. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You're coming up on 100 backers.
Yep.
I think you might have gotten a couple more here in the last hour or so that I've looked at it. You're over 50%. That's good. 28 days to go. Plenty of time. Plenty of time. I love who did your logo. Oh, here, Brian.
Brian
No, no,
Denona. So he does my logos. He did a great job with this. I thought you got to do the word balloon. You got to do the Grolix, which is what the name is for the asterisk and the exclamation point and stuff like that. Like when you're talking cursing in comics,
mhm.
and the black tongue, of course, which is what happens when she gets possessed by a demon. Her tongue turns black. So everything just kind of came out really nice there.
Nice, nice. Yeah, and is the lettering going to look like this in the comic, or is this just a
Yes.
special
Yes.
pinup? Nice,
Yes.
nice. Yeah, it looks so bright and fun, and I can't wait to check it out.
Yep.
Like
Shout
I
out,
this
shout out
looks
to
wild.
Sarah Davidson who did the art for the comic. She did a great job. And then HDE is the letterer. They did a great.
Nice.
It's just awesome all around. Just took my idea and it came and brought it to life. So thank you so much. And this is a team sport, and in comics you got to always shout out the whole team. The whole team did a great job.
Nice. All right. Well, real quick, I'm gonna read the solicit for everybody. All right. From the batshit mind who brought you fast killer sloths, chancleta wielding grandmas who fight zombies, and Santa fighting motherfucking robots, comes a superhero whose gift is to curse. After the divorce of her parents, teenager Faye Flick is adjusting to her new surroundings. A new city, a new home, and after accidentally getting possessed by a demon, new abilities that turn her curse words into the ultimate weapon against evil. With amazing art and colors by Sarah Davidson and lettering that brings the whole project to life by HDE, this 20-page comic is filled with laughs, heart, and a fuck ton of action, baby. Yeah, this sounds awesome, and the art looks great. Like I'm so excited about it. Where did this idea come from, Steve? Like you always come out of the you always come out with something different, with something whether it's animals that are deadly and oddly fast and simultaneously adorable, or a Christmas tale like nothing we've ever seen before, or even like a zombie love story that is just a mess and like a good like a love story mess. Not that the plot is a mess, but just like it's just like that whole idea of like getting stuck on a terrible first date on top of like a zombie apocalypse, right? That was genius, and it's like this is something again very fresh, very new, and you're now trying to tackle the superhero genre, and you're doing it in a smart way. You're doing it in a way that is like it's a fresh take, it's something new, it's something goofy, it's very on brand for you. But like has this been like, because I know some of the stuff, like, you when you're at comic school, like, some of this came from that, and like that, that was a few years ago. Like, has this been simmering for a while? It's just like where'd this come from?
So I during the pandemic, it was right after I launched Zombie Date Night. I took a walk and I was just like, you know what? I got to figure out what my next project will be. And I was like, what could I do in comics that the other comic companies can't do? And I was like, well, cursing, they can't really curse. I was like, maybe there's something funny there where, you know, cursing could be their power. And then that turned into, because I'm such a big fan of Green Lantern, I'm such a big fan of Venom, what if it was a superhero who got her powers from cursing, but the cursing, the more creative the curse got, the more it came to life in the comic. So if somebody called somebody a shit sandwich, the shit sandwich will pop up and help her fight the bad guys. And I was like, that's something I can do. That's something fun. That's something that nobody's done before. And that's something that I can play around with. And that can go on forever and ever, just based on, you could do literal F bombs. You could do whatever needs to be done. Um, and because language, it's fun. Like when people curse, people pay attention more. So I thought those two together, I think that would make a great superhero and a great concept. And listen, we could all, for the writers out there that are listening to this, or they write bleak stuff or horror or anything, we were all first drawn to superheroes. We can't,
Hmm.
you can't say that we weren't. Spider-Man, superhero, Superman, whatever. That was our gateway. So for me to go, I was like, you know what? I've done horror. Horror's great. I love horror. I'll do it again at some point, but I want to go the other way this time. I want to try something different and have something else in my stable.
Nice. Do you ever do you ever try and talk yourself out of any of these crazy ideas? I mean, obviously you haven't, right? But I mean, do you ever think like you go too far, or like, or when you're like, how many teenagers or preteens can I kill in a sloth summer camp comic, or like, what, how do I, how crazy can I get with a zombie story, or like, can I draw Santa doing cocaine, like, or well, you didn't draw Lane
I didn't
through it,
draw it.
but
Yeah,
like,
Lane Lloyd did that, and Lane Lloyd did a great job.
but I mean, like, do you ever like come up with some of these ideas and be like, I don't know, Steve, like, can we do it? And then like, or have you ever got like, has there been moments like that where you thought you went too far and you were like, oh man, we gotta maybe like did Santa do cocaine off of like Mrs. Claus tits? And then you were like, you know what? We gotta cut. He'll do the cocaine, but we're gonna take like a little step back, man. Like, you ever got
Uh,
to check yourself?
I I no, I think my thing is follow your muse, because you never know where it's going to take you. And if it's an idea, but I guess my gauge is talking to my parents about it, because my parents are like, you're spending money on this to do this. And my gauge is like, well, if it gives me pleasure in knowing that my parents have to tell somebody about this, then, like, what I mean, when they're talking to their friends, like, oh, what's the comic about? Like, oh, it's superhero gets her powers from cursing. That gives me great joy. So I think it's just following your muses and figuring out what makes you laugh, what's something you would want to see. That's basically
Nice.
what drives me forward. And just the concepts. Whenever I tell the elevator pitch to somebody, they get it immediately, and they're like, I got to see this, whether it's bad or whether they think it's bad or good. That's for them to decide. But at least I got them in the door.
Nice. Yeah, there's one things about your comics is they're very, the elevator pitches, the quick pitches, like, they always work so well, and it's just like, I can't, like, I would have never thought, about that, right? And it's like, it's it's just it's perfect. And again, like, I think you've got another big hit on your hands that I think, a lot of people are excited about it. There's Gary says, "Lucky she's not Australian because we have a favorite curse word that would turn it into a porn film."
Hold on one second. Sorry, my cat needs to be let out.
No worries.
But yeah, I mean, it's it's um it's been a lot of fun, and just doing something different within the superhero genre. I really hope, I get to I hope really hope somebody in the superhero community gets to read this, and like, because I don't know if people like it or don't like it, or think it's like, oh, this is blasphemous, because superheroes can't curse, superheroes shouldn't do this. But I love it. I mean, it also stemmed from, I did a class. I'm not going to say who it was. That I asked, they're a very big comic creator. I asked them, did superheroes, very well known stuff. I asked them, hey, I do horror comics. They've done well. Uh, is it okay? What is your advice for switching genres? And he said, it's probably better that you stay in your lane.
Ooh.
And for me, I was like, I don't think they meant it to be mean. I think they meant it where, hey, you're doing great. Keep on going. Do that. I think that's what they meant. But I took that more as a challenge. And it's like, you know
Mhm.
what? I'm not going to stay in my lane. I'm going to go in multiple lanes and figure out what works, what doesn't work.
I'm gonna
And
drive sideways down the
I'll drive
highway. Fuck
sideways.
this
Listen,
guy.
yeah, exactly. Where again, I don't think they were being mean about it, but maybe they went through stuff where they tried to switch genres and it didn't work, or I don't
Yeah.
know. But I think that's bad advice. I think that's bad advice because you never know. Look at Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele was a comedian, right? He did Key and Peele. I'm sure when he's like, "Oh, I got this horror thing," people are like, "Why the fuck are you doing that?" So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That your money's here, and now he's doing all types of horror stuff, which is awesome. And he goes
Yeah.
back and forth, which is very cool. So I want to make sure that I want to be I want to be a good writer. I want to be somebody that's it's like, hey, that's Stevie Urena. He's fun. He makes fun comics, but I don't know what he's going to do next. And that's what I want to give that to the people that are reading my stuff.
I think you're doing that. It's very impossible to predict even when like we knew there was going to be a sequel to Slowpokes. Like when you finally showed that cover, and we knew it was going to be like a Camp Crystal Lake kind of, right. Like
Yeah,
when we saw you take it to summer camp, like that just it could have gone anywhere, right? Because
yeah,
issue one, like, and I also love how seamless, like, you right where issue one ends, issue two begins. I love that there wasn't like a time jump, and there
yes,
was just like it was just right into the madness, nothing stopping. The 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 white the dad, oh my, the dad who like thinks he's a Native American Indian, but he's white as hell, and he's on this horse, and like he gets he gets his eyeball ripped out, and his daughter like yells at him. Like it's you're very much impossible to predict. And I've heard you say this before, the Soldier Boy of comics. Like,
yeah.
where did you invent that? Did someone else call you that? Like, what's the backstory on
I did an interview, and I think we're talking about rap music. I'm a big rap music guy. I love hip hop. And I think it just came out of that interview where I was like, oh, I want to be somebody's like, I want to be this of comics. I was like, I want to be the Soldier Boy of comics. Where at first people were like, what the fuck is this? This is annoying. Like, I don't know. But then now he basically created a lot of rap that we see now.
that? Yeah,
And a lot of people, put down Soldier Boy and all that stuff, but like he was very influential. He was very much ahead of his time. And so I kind of am like, you know what? The Soldier Boy of comics, I think that's funny. I think that's a funny thing to do. And maybe one day I could talk to Soldier Boy and be like, hey, like I want to be the Soldier Boy of comics and go from there. But now with this, Soldier Boy comics is great, but I hope I upgrade to the Ice Spice of comics.
nice. Colton Dotson's in the house
Will
tonight.
Johnson he's fucking awesome. He said that he might possibly get a Slowpokes tattoo. So if he does, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. But he's big fan. He's always been very positive to me, and
He's
he's
good
great.
people.
Great
Yeah,
taste in comics too.
yeah. And I love when he gets into like very, like it, I love hype in comics, and I get into it, and he's equally passionate about
Yeah.
this medium, right? And he's just it's rare, man. Even people that love comics, like burnout is a deal among a lot of people, or like people will talk about the state of things, or like they get mad about what DC and Marvel's doing, and forget about all the other unique voices outside of the big two that are
Yeah.
doing fresh and invigorating things. And Colton is never there. He's always positive about the industry. He's always positive about the creators he loves, and he likes good creators. But yeah, he's the reason. He's how I found out about you. I wasn't super into Kickstarter when Slowpokes went on, and I remember him talking about the campaign, and then I remember when he got his shirt, and he was always wearing the shirt because we used to be on a podcast together way back in the, like when the pandemic first started. We all
Mhm.
kind of were messing around with something, and and he would always wear the shirt. And then I remember like when Slowpoke shipped and like started seeing people like getting them, and then that's when I that's how I hit you up. I remember because like I got hit with FOMO hard, and I was like, man, I need to get this comic, and I hit you up, and you sent me the comic, and then later when I launched my show, you were my first guest, and we talked like all fucking night. It was amazing. Um, and then yeah, I think I've almost had you on for every so your fourth time on, I think, right?
Yes, 3 or
Or
4.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think 3 or 4. But this is the fact that I was the first episode. Now you're going so you're doing so well. It's really cool to see, and just seeing everything evolve, and from the first slowpokes to now to foulmouth. It's like, man, like we're doing it. Everybody's doing it. It's
yeah.
very cool to see. It's very awesome.
And I also have I made it into an anthology recently that funded on Kickstarter. Like so I have a 2-page comic that's gonna happen and be real, and I'm gonna get to hold it and see it. And someone hit me up and asked me if I'd be interested in being in another anthology. And so like and then I was like, uh-oh. I was like, is this is how it starts? I was
Yeah,
like,
listen, opportunity when opportunity knocks, you better answer, man. Kick that door down. Do what you got to do.
yeah, I gotta try. Thank you, Colton. Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride, and honestly, like without awesome guests like Steve and some of the great creators I've had on, and not only that, like the viewers and people that push me, and there's been times where I thought about quitting, where I thought about not doing it anymore, or it was getting stressful, and for people that reminded me of like mental health is real and take care of yourself, but like know that like you would be missed if you didn't do this. Like when people reach out and this community's helped me out in real life like a couple times. Like they came together, helped me with my dog. The 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 way us being live right now on this laptop, the community bought for me. Like the people really showed me support in ways that I never would have expected. And so yeah, it's
When you put love in your work, the love comes back to you, and you
yeah.
you could see it, and that's great. And the fact that you have people live here talking to you right now, that's amazing. That's an amazing thing. You're the center. You're the hive. You know what I mean? This is your hive right here, and
Maybe I should hire you to be my marketing.
you're building something.
I need some of that. Thank you, by the way, for all you're always very kind to me, and same for you, man. Like it's your Kickstarter your Kickstarter campaigns, the way you interact with your fans, and people that love your comics, and like and I you've I you could get signed to like Marvel tomorrow or something, and I don't think you wouldn't you're like David Pepose in that, where like David will go on a brand new podcast that has no viewers to talk about his comic and nerd out with people, right? Even though like he's getting like steady Marvel gigs now, and he's anybody who writes him a review, like he'll quote it and tweet it on all his platforms, right? And he's very appreciative of his people and his audience, and you're very much like that. And I don't, I can't imagine you would lose that, where you would get like so big and your head gets so heavy, but it's just like I've always loved that about you, about how how excited you are. Even when we all started getting the koozies from the Slowpokes 2 campaign, and taking pictures of koozies, and with like not even a fun drink in it, like a Diet Mountain Dew in it, and you're like, fuck yeah, it's what I make comics for.
Yeah, exactly.
It's for koozie pics. But I just love that. I love that excitement. And like you said, like when you have the love in it, the love comes back to you. And when you put that kind of love and joy into your work, it infects others. And your comics, they do like infect the readers, right? Like when it's like something, I don't know what you put in the ink when you send this off to the printer, right? But it's like something like gets into the crevices of your fingers, and absorbs, and it just puts you in a really good mood. Even don't no matter how zany or dark and awkward or violent even some of the moments are in your comics, it's like a breath of fresh air, man. Like honestly, like if people listening, if whether you're watching live or you watch this later, if you haven't experienced Steve's work, first of all, his Kickstarters, he should probably charge more for his Kickstarters. I'm glad he doesn't, but he's very fair priced on the Kickstarters. He's always got cool add-ons. He's always got Is your buddy still making your t-shirts?
This time around, I went with another artist. I will have Vertebrae 33 do my shirts again at some point because does a great job. But Jason Thomas did
This is good.
the art for
This is
this,
really good too.
and it's I think it fits this comic perfectly.
I
And
love how loud and vibrant it is.
exactly, it just
Like this shirt
different feel.
screams. Like,
Yes,
but so he's always got a cool shirt. He's got a I forgot to show. He's got a bumper sticker this time, which
yes,
I'm,
that's right.
I'm
So if you
so
want to
used
show
to
off
having two
cursing is your
monitors.
superpower on the highway, there you go.
Yeah, so he's got a cool bumper sticker. Always a cool T-shirt. You can get back issues. You get digital back issues. Like I really encourage you all to experience the wealth of zaniness that Steve brings to indie comics. There's nothing like it. I mean, there really isn't. And everybody that's experienced slowpokes has fallen in love with it. I think Steve's tired of talking about slowpokes.
No,
I think Steve's like,
I
you guys
love
know I make other comics.
I love slowpoke. Slowpokes will always be what I'm known for, and I know that, and I love it, and it's great. And I'm gonna hopefully continue that. But it's I love
You're
that
the
that was
slot.
my I
You're the
know
slot.
slot daddy. I that's the thing, and I hope I get to continue doing more slowpokes comics and things like that. But I'm so happy that people enjoy it. I'm so happy that to be told that I could maybe do Marvel or DC. Great, I appreciate that. But my goal is not that. My goal is to
Yeah.
entertain. My goal is to create freely. Like this is such an avenue for me where I don't have to answer to anybody. I'm the boss. I'm it. You know what I mean? Whether I like it or it's all on me. So if something fails, works, doesn't work, that's all on me. And luckily the team that I get to put together for these comics, they always pull through for me. And I love their work. But this is my vacation. This is where I could create freely without any I mean, there's Joyce Carol Oates in one of the classes that she put out on Masterclass. She says when you're a writer, if you're to write in a journal, because that's where you're most free,
Mm,
because there's nobody looking at it. You could write
yeah.
whatever you want. Your true voice comes out. That's how I feel like with these comics.
Nice. I like that. Um, I need a journal. I used to carry around a little. This is in my poetry writing days. Like when I
Hmm.
was when I was writing a lot of poetry, I used to
Awesome.
always have one of those pocket moleskins in my back pocket with my wallet, and I would like take notes and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was there were a couple times as like when I was working at the bar, I'd be smoking a cigarette out by the dumpster, right? Like like at late night, and I was like, like when I edit, I read stuff aloud because it you can really hear like when something needs to change, you can really hear it.
Yes.
You don't often see it on the page, but when you say it out loud, it's easier to hear, and you're like, oh, that doesn't flow, that doesn't work as well. There are so many times where like they're just like dangerously attractive like college girls would come up and like I'm like smoking reading poetry by the dumpster and they're like, do you want to see my ID? And I was like, yeah. So I just like, but yeah, it's, writing in a journal is super beneficial. And that just like I some people do it on their phones, which is fine, but there's
Yeah.
something about that tactile
Yeah.
experience where
Putting
like the
pen to
pen,
paper.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
It
you
just
said earlier, like touching grass, right? It's
yeah,
just like it's switching it up a little bit,
exactly.
getting away from this digital world that we're all obsessed with.
Yes.
We're all on it all the time, and like yeah, it's super helpful. And yeah, like I wrote my first comic book script on my phone. I did that, and I edited it on a computer. But
Yeah.
but to put the screens away and like look at a piece of paper while you actually like touch it with the tip of a pen and put marks on it or like you said, like when we've been trapped, when we were trapped for so long and missing our friends and loved ones, and like to just like to have that summer of Steve and go out and touch the grass and go to baseball games and concerts and live and experience things, right? And without that filter, without that slab of glass in front of us showing us pretty pictures or whatever. That's
Well, I think the best thing to do as a writer, creator, artist, whatever, go out of your comfort zone. That's where the best stuff comes from because it's your reaction to something that you're not used to, and you might not like it, you might like it, but at least you'll have that experience, and that'll make you grow as a creator.
By the way, Colton has a theory on that magic stuff I said that you put the ink
Put some crack
comics.
on there, yes.
It'll get you. It'll get you. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do drugs, kids. Like kids are fucking watching. Your kids are watching the show. You're a shitty parent. I'm just kidding. All your kids can watch the show. We love metrics. Get those numbers. Tell your kid to share, like, subscribe. Tell all his friends to subscribe. Buy Steve's comics. We don't care.
Yeah, whatever. Whoever it is, that's the
Get
audience.
that
Great.
get that fuck you shirt. Wear it to show and tell day at school. Like whatever you
Whatever size you need, we got you.
uh Ryan is watching.
Or his child, yeah. Well, what's up,
What
Orion? How you doing?
what one of one of I had a guest on one time and I talked about that phrase where like where you put your dick on the table, right? It's just like
Yep.
my ex-girlfriend had told that to me about our boss back in the day and I'd never heard that phrase before and I said some comic book creator was like putting their dick on the table. And this creator was like, "Yeah, I was watching that show, and my son was watching it, and my son was like, Dad, why are they putting their dicks on the
Dick on
table?"
the table, yeah.
And I was like, "This is why I shouldn't be trusted."
Well, in foul mouth, if she says like you're putting your dick on the table, it can happen, and you just slap somebody with it.
It like splits the. It's like I'm so excited to see all the randomness that can come from
Oh,
this.
that's my best friend
What's
Mikey.
up,
Shout out
Michael?
to him, one of my earliest supporters. Known him since second grade. So that was my nickname in college, the Suntan Superman.
Nice. Does
It's
anyone
Holly
know if a
Crease,
t-shirt
guys. You know it.
We'll custom. He'll custom make
I'll
you one.
customize that for you, Mikey. Absolutely.
You are you're not. I believe me. You're the opposite of a shitty parent, dude.
No, you're
All
not.
you,
You're
you have done so much for those kids. It's ridiculous. And Colton is just raising two beautiful nerds and like showing them comics, showing them video games. It's so cool to see.
you're
And
gonna live a good life.
yeah, he's Colton's good people. But yeah, it's this new comic, man. Now you are when you mentioned like don't stay in your comfort zone, right? And like get out of your comfort zone. So like even as a fan of superhero comics, would you say taking this venture into creating a superhero comic? Are you stepping out of your comfort zone? Like or did you like jump into some really like cold, weird feeling waters for this, or did you kind of feel at home?
I felt at home because I think it's something different, and I obviously kept going with it. Like it wasn't just an idea that I'm like, maybe I'll do it, maybe I'll do it later. It was a challenge. It was awesome. It was fun. I was able to inject a lot of my personal life into there. I mean, my girlfriend, who I love very much, was kind of the basis for this character, and and it's funny because she's an elementary school teacher, but she curses like a sailor. So like I had this idea, I told her, and she's like, "That's funny." So I was like, you know what? I think she would be a great kind of basis for what this character looks like. So I wrote it up, and I did it vaguely, where I'm like, oh, she has dark hair, she does this, she does that, and the artist drew her pretty similarly to what my girlfriend kind of looks like, and I'm like, then that it comes from my heart and it comes from me. So if that's the same thing with like Zombie Date Night, I use my grandmother as reference, things I love, put them in the reference. Again, using love, putting it into it, and Foul Mouth was born, and Foul Mouth I felt at home. I felt like this is a character I could have fun with. I could do different things with it, and a cursing superhero, you could have so much fun with it. And if there's more, you could just have fun with language, have fun with different themes, different things. And also because in the comic, she gets to express herself. She gets to find her voice, which is what I'm trying to do in comics. So for me, it's me, and it's things in my life, and that's kind of where I drive my stories, and it always feels at home.
So this sounds like I mean all of your comics are your babies and they've all been important to you, but
Yes,
this one sounds like it might be as a creator like a little bit more emotionally heavy for you, a little bit more tied into your heartstrings. Like are you a little more invested in this like a little
uh,
than
I,
previous ones?
I'm invested in everyone, because but I feel like every comic is a different type of investment. So like the
Okay.
Slowpokes was the first one, right? Where I was like, I don't know if anybody wants this, but I'll put it out there. We'll see what happens. The second one was like, I don't want to just be the sloth guy. I want to be I want to try something else. And then the Christmas one was like, this just sounds like fun. I want to work with a partner for the first time. I've never done that because I know comics is a team sport. And if I can work with somebody, at least I have somebody in the trenches with me. And then, Slowpokes 2, just going back to the well. And then Foulmouth, again, different territory and just something different, like moving towards a different goal and trying to find a different audience.
Nice. Well, I like I said, it's been a joy watching you like your comic career too. And like I said, you're now like continuously putting out content that we aren't seeing regularly. Like even in the realm of like crowdfunded comics, where like there's a little bit of something for everybody, and there's like if you like weird shit, there's weird shit, right? But even then, like there's I'm not seeing a lot of stuff like that, and humor in comics is hard. It's very hard to pull. You have to be a really good, strong, intelligent writer to to pull off those like laugh out loud moments in comics. It's not easy. Horror is a little bit easier. Action is pretty easy. Especially because you can rely on your artist more. And the artist, like you do have to still rely on your artist to kind of pull off these jokes and these like the right facial expressions and the goofiness, or like we see in some of the preview images where like the demon's like climbing into her mouth and her cheeks are puffed out and this like but it's hard to pull off humor well, and that's something that you continuously make you make it look pretty easy, honestly. Like like in slow pokes when everybody's joking around with each other and kind of making fun of each other. um and then in like slow pokes too, when something touched my taint and his girlfriend's like, dude, we're not there yet, I don't really like just the some really good strong moments that like make your characters come alive in new ways and really juxtapose what's going on in the comic to kind of it keeps your audience on like instead of like relying on like heavy tension and continuous violence, like you mix it up with humor and these like lighter moments which you can then manipulate into a new scene or a little bit of darker territory or bring it back to a more serious moment if you need to. And it like I said, you make it look easy, but is it easy for you, or is some of that like in regards to like writing dialogue and nailing those punchlines? Like, you go through a lot of like joke process and like maybe with like readers or the girlfriend or family, and like do you read them like 10 versions of the same joke and like see like which one tests well or
So that is part of it. For me, I don't. I think it's just more of like, what do I want to see? What's something that what will make me turn the page? I think that's a big one too, and just making sure it makes sense to the story and not just jokes for the sake of jokes. Like, hey, I did this. I could build on this. I could make this. This could be a bigger joke later. This could be something like that. I don't know. It just maybe that's just the way my brain works. But I definitely test it out. So I'll tell people my process because it's might help other people. Where I do deadlines. I give myself deadlines. My girlfriend will help me with that. We're like, hey, I'm gonna do you do the story sentence, you do character sheets, you just put what each character is. This is like your roadmap. And then from there you do an outline and you write down, you just idea dump everything. You don't have to use everything, but at least you have it there. It's more of like you're creating a map for yourself. And then I do the first like 5 or 10 pages first, and then I'll read it back. I'll read it with my girlfriend over and over again. A few, maybe 1 or 2 times. She's like, "Oh, this doesn't work because of this. This doesn't work because of this." So I'll go back and edit it until it's in a good place, and then move on to the next thing and do the same thing. It does help too. I read it out and I try to do the voices of the characters just so I can get that personality. Like, okay, maybe I need to add this here. Maybe I need to add this. This needs to sound more like a person talking, more than just like and always less is more. You don't want to go crazy with the dialogue. That's how I do it anyway. So that's been very helpful, and luckily the formula has worked, because I'm still waiting on a like really bad review where somebody's like, this fucking sucks, this is the worst thing ever. And luckily it's not. Luckily I haven't done anything that's been like critically hated, which is nice. But yeah, that's my process, and it's just trying to have as much fun as possible. That's like goal number one. I'm not trying to stress myself out, like I told you before. It's more just having fun with my characters, doing what I would want to see, and just like what is the most entertaining way I can do this that'll keep people coming back, and end the comic like, you know what, I would read another one.
Nice. Well, in that if in that sense, I feel like you're doing it. Now, you mentioned earlier we mentioned, and I really liked when you did this, when you did zombie date night and you
Yeah.
did the movie watching, and like every week we watched a new zombie movie. And I still remember that first night, and it like
Yes, first night sucks.
everything like blew up and didn't
Shit,
work,
yeah.
and you're and then like someone was like, "Oh, do it in Discord." No, no, no. But that was really fun, and I know a lot of your friends joined in, and like, but like I was like I looked forward to those. Like I think they were what on the Thursday nights, and I was like
Yeah.
I would make dinner, sit down, watch this like gross, disgusting, bloody zombie movie while I was eating cheeseburgers or something, right? And it was just like getting to watch the movies and like talk to these strangers and everybody's laughing and making jokes and watching
Fun
these
time.
movies. And it was very cool, and I thought that was a really smart way to like market and get people excited for the campaign. Are you doing anything similar? Like what anything special for Foul Mouth? Like what are you any
Well,
kind of
Fat Mouth,
promotion?
just so far, just the t-shirts. This has been a very busy summer, just in terms of working and things like that. But knowing that people get excited about stuff like that, maybe I'll have to bring that back, or bring something similar where it's more of an interactive thing. I just got a little bit worried about, like, again, screwing up the movies, or like the Discord doesn't work and stuff like that
Yeah,
technologically. But yeah, I mean, if I would have loved during Ex Machina to do like Christmas movies and things like that, and people came. My thing was, as long as there's one person in the chat, we're good. And there
yeah,
was like 13, which is really cool, and they came back every week, and that was
yeah,
very fun. I definitely, I think Falmouth, I wanted to figure out more of like what would be a superhero genre. Like I can't just have cursing sessions, you know what I mean? Like I gotta figure that out. But I think that worked better for Zombie Date Night than this. But
hmm
I agree with you that that always takes your marketing to another level. But I also know that social media is in a very weird place right now.
yeah,
So I just feel like I need to figure out where we're landing before
yeah.
we do that
Baby
again.
steps. Yeah.
Because Twitter or X or whatever the fuck you're gonna call it, like that used to be my most, that's where I used to get my most readers, and
hmm
now I can't even. Nobody's seeing it, and I don't
Yeah.
know why. I guess it's because of the algorithm. So just luckily, there's been a lot of word of mouth from people that I'm friends with, people that read comics, and people creators, which is really cool. But again, just finding where to land, because
Mhm.
I don't want to. I can't market if nobody's hearing me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. And it's that's probably smart. Like you said, you want to keep it fun and not stress
Yeah,
yourself out and stuff,
yeah,
right? But yeah, I do. One of the cool parts of just about that though was just like the extra amount of time that you put in to engage with your audience, right? Even
yes,
though it was you love horror movies, you picked some of these movies you knew about, some you had wanted to see, right? Some you were like a random like, is this one going to be good? I don't know. We're
yeah.
going to
I have
watch it.
no idea.
But just the time you took out of your day to do that on top of the regular promotion, the podcast, the appearances, like your day job, your life, like to take, and just to interact with people that were celebrating your comic. I thought that was really cool. I think a lot of creators could learn from that. Like not everybody has to have like a movie watching thing, but just like little ways you can show people you appreciate them and celebrate that interconnectivity of crowdfunding,
Together,
because
yeah,
it is there's a very big personal aspect to it that you don't get in the direct market, right? It's just like
yeah,
you're dealing with your backers directly, and you're watching people support you directly. Like there's not really a middleman, right? It's them and you.
yes,
And I mean, Kickstarter, I guess the platform could be a
yes,
middleman, but I mean, and then you're getting your comics printed and you're shipping them to your audience, and it's just like it's more intimate a lot of direct market stuff going. And so like, when just the extra effort that you put in to connect with your audience, I thought that was really cool. And like I said, it ended up from like the consumer aspect when you pitched it to me on when I did on that interview, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds awesome. And it was super fun. Like getting to talk to new people, watching new movies I hadn't seen. It was cool. And I encourage more people to. We kind of did that for One True Love with Mario and Jay. Our the finale, or no, the launch party. The launch party, we did like a 30-minute live stream, and then we went on Amazon Prime and watched the first episode of Too Old to Die Young. And like a couple people like showed up and they were like, "We'll hang out for a little bit," and then they ended up like watching the whole first episode, which is they're like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
They're feature length episodes, right? And they ended up like hanging out the whole time. And then we gave away a couple comics on the Amazon chat. But like, it was just cool. Like, and it was nice. Like the way, like, you can like watch the movie and type to people, and like it's different than talking to people and trying
Yeah.
to watch a movie, right? You can still focus on the movie and
Exactly.
focus on the chat, so you just get more out of the movie. And so just thinking about stuff like that and how to interact with your audience, like you said, and as a way to combat this strangeness of social media, where a lot of us were comfy. A lot of I all of my follow most of my followers for Blake's Buzz are on Twitter, right? And it's like I'm trying to get back on Facebook. I'm like inching to 1,000 on Instagram, even though I know there's like 600 of them are fucking bots. But as long as it says 1,000 on there, I'll feel good. But and then like uh you know blues no one not many people have like thousands of followers on Blue Sky yet, right? Because
Yeah.
it's so new, and there's not thousands of comic book people on there. And like Mastodon, and then like there's like Pillow Fort and Jerk Off Hour or something now. I don't know. There's all these weird ones, and it's like you can't
That's
keep
also
up.
that's the new app, Jerk Off Hour. Great.
Yeah,
Sell my comics on Jerk Off Hour. Yeah.
yeah. The foul mouth Jerk Off Hour. Uh,
I mean, maybe that's an idea, but I, I don't know. I don't know. That might draw a different audience, but
that's
it's
yeah.
I
Wait,
love
that's a comic.
I love talking to people. Comics, like I said, is a vacation for me. I don't care about the big two or any of that stuff. If I get there, great. If I don't, I get to create stuff that I care about with and get to talk to people. And again, I want to help people. Like if you could do it too. If you're thinking about writing a comic, put pen to paper, give yourself deadlines, do what you got to do. But
Yeah,
this is fun for me. I can't wait till I start doing cons because I want to talk to people. I want to build that audience. I want to build that connection. I want to make sure that, hey, if you're excited about me creating, that I'm excited about you creating. I'm excited about you, whatever you're excited about, I'm excited about too. So, I love comics. I really do, and I want to give that love back. So
yeah.
hopefully, you know, hopefully we'll grow the audience, or even if it's just a few people, I'm cool with that too. You know what I mean? I've been so lucky to meet such great people over the years, and it's very cool.
Same. And that's I've said this numerous times. That's what the bummer about Twitter right now is. I built Blake's Buzz on Twitter mainly. I
Yeah.
got I got most of my interviews from interactions on Twitter, and from the audience built from Twitter, and not only that, taking Blake's Buzz out of the equation, like I made great friends, like
Yeah.
Colton, who's in the chat talking
Yeah.
about
Great person.
jerking off. Great, solid guy. We'll go back to this one. But he is a guy. Like, well, Colton's got. You guys know. I have a stick. But but I met Colton on Twitter. I met Steve on Twitter. I met so many First Issue Club, the Greg and them. Like I met all them on Twitter, and I made like friends, and like I have like Ronan, who was one of the first comments tonight. Like, you know, R- Ronan lives across the world, and we've never met each other, but we talk a lot, and he watches the show a lot,
He
and we
got me on Blue Sky, which I appreciate a lot.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
And he always gets my stuff, and in Australia, like my comics are going places I've never been. That's
Yeah,
incredible. I don't know what else to do. I got to go there.
yeah. I know but it's just like it's a bummer that I don't want to lose that community, right? I know the guy running it's a shit show and it's a dumpster fire and there's some bad stuff going on, but like there's a lot of the comic book community is still there, and it was a good. I know there's a dark side to the community too, right? But for the most part, like we all made really cool relationships, met some really cool people, and got inspired. Steve, when he talked about telling people to like, yeah, put pen to paper, like almost every, I think every episode Steve's been on, he reminds me like, you write a comic book yet? You working on a comic book yet? And he's like,
And now
Steve
you
has
have.
pushed me.
Now
Yeah,
you're in an anthology. It's fucking crazy. Good for you. That's awesome.
but it's like Steve has always like pushed me to like be creative and stuff, and he's just, there's a lot of good voices out there that love the community, that love to give back to the community, and it worries me because it's like, where are we going to call home?
Yeah.
And I want us all to have a home. I want us all to have a cool, safe place where we can interact and have those laughs and have those group chats and send those short videos to each other and memes and stuff. Like it's I don't want to lose that. So that's the bummer about it all. But and then the other bummer is like when you're marketing your product and now you're like, where do I market at? Who where's where are the people who like suit? Where are these, where are the horror people hanging out? Where are the genre fiction people hanging out? It's a weird time. But like Steve said, the main deal is to remind yourself to keep having fun,
Yeah.
because you can try and fail and try again and still have fun. It can still be a fun experience. You're still creating. You're still doing something. You're putting yourself out there, and a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people think about doing it but don't, or are hesitant to do so. And so, like, if you're out there trying to sell a product and trying to figure out where the best place is to market it, whether it's a comic book, whether it's PR services, whether it's you're trying to get a new podcast going or something, like, just don't give up, and remember that there is a community for you. Sometimes you just have to look for us a little harder, right, and find us. But this there are people that will support you and
It
be
it
there
just
for you.
reminds me of the movie Small Soldiers. I don't know if you've seen it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I've seen.
The Gorgonites are all hiding. Like that's just like, oh, we're gonna find this each other. We're gonna figure it out.
That's why I love you, Steve. You're like, I'm like saying this serious shit, and you're like, it's like Small Soldiers. I'm like, of course it is. Of course it
Of course it is. How could I
is.
have missed that? Yeah.
Fucking madman. But no,
Gorgonite.
that's why you buy Steve's comics, because his comics are like that. They are like little moments of like, it's like Small Soldiers, or it's like fucking sloths or murderers, or it's like there's just, you never know what's going to happen panel to panel, other than absolute fun and joy and great art. Steve's got a great eye for art, and he always has. And every issue he puts out is beautiful, and he always finds a good team to work with that he vibes with.
Yeah, shout out to Comics Experience, Paul Aller, Andy Schmidt. They've worked with me. They were my teachers in the school, and they'll give me great artists and great letterers, everything in a package, and it's been great. I've loved that I've been able to do different flavors of things
Hmm.
in my comics where no series is the same, and that's what I love. That's been great.
Yeah, that's what I love too, because I probably wouldn't have you on the show 3 or 4 times if all your shit was the same. I'm kidding.
I appreciate it. Hey, listen, anybody who's put me on this shows are, I appreciate you and thank you. I'm glad that I can do for you as you're doing for me.
Yeah, that's like I always have a blast talking to you. Like I said, you're a good voice. You're funny. You're fun to chat with, but you bring a good message to the table too, which is funny because you wouldn't necessarily think that looking at some of the comic books you put out, right? You're like,
Probably not.
like,
You think I
you're
was a
like,
good
do Rick and Morty teach you about life? Maybe, kind of, but like it's just like, if I probably shouldn't. I know that creator got into some shit, so that's probably a bad example to bring up. But it's just you're 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 always you're a champion of indie comics and the community, and
Thank
you're
you.
always good about lifting people up and
Of course, you
getting
got
people
to.
excited.
This is we're all in this together. And how cool would it be to see people that are writing independent comics and Marvel and DC and whatever? You're like, I want to see everybody grow together, and that's the best part.
Yeah, Yeah, we gotta stay together, lift up your friends.
Yeah, that,
So
I
back your friends'
gatekeepers.
comics. Well, Steve, I've kept you over an hour, and I know you've I don't know what you do in your free time. Well, actually, I do. You have like great adventures that you post on Instagram and make me just think my life is incredibly lame. But I real quick, as we mentioned, the social media is a weird place. So on that note, are you doing a newsletter or anything these days?
I've definitely I'm thinking about my next plan of attack for after Foulmouth is done, and I think I don't know if a newsletter. I don't know if I'm big enough yet to have a newsletter where people care. Maybe a mailing list or something might work.
Hmm,
But I definitely think I need to put together a site. I need to put together a place to buy all my previous comics, and just have hey, because listen, a lot of places, there's I'm not, there's a lot of like Amazon or things like that to put my comics. I don't want people to profit off my stuff that didn't do anything with it. So
yeah,
I'd rather put a site together. Hey, you want my comics? I will ship it to you myself. I will make sure that it gets to you. So that's the next plan is to create a hub where it's like, hey, I will put all my stuff here. This is where you can get it. That's it. Done. You know what I mean? That way, because like I feel bad for creators who put their stuff out. They're excited that they're selling, and then people profit off of them. That's not cool. That's not fun. That's not. That's not. I know that's the game. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I'd rather just do it myself because why not? I know it can be done.
yeah, yeah. Like it's setting up a shop and stuff is. I was gonna say it's easy. It's
I,
probably
I'm
not
sure. I'm
easy.
sure it's not easy, but I know that at least if I have a place, I could learn it, learn how to distribute
Hmm.
stuff, and do it that way.
Yeah. Well, that other than that, like I know you're still on Twitter. I know you. I know you still have all your slow all your comic property Twitter accounts too, because I saw them
Yeah, this
all
one this one
retweet the
I
show
didn't do
today.
one because I didn't want
I
to
know.
get
I was gonna say. I was like, man. I was like, where's the foul mouth? Where's the foul mouth Twitter account? But so you're on Blue Sky. You're still on Twitter.
yeah.
What are your names on there? What do we follow?
You could always find me on any. The only thing I'm not on is Mastodon. But
Weird. I don't understand it. That's just me. I
yeah,
don't get it.
yeah, I just don't hear people talking about it. Maybe it's good. Like I don't know.
Greg Pack is the only one who's like, I really like Mastodon, and he takes he posts all his like photography there. But like,
Oh
yeah,
well,
so I
maybe that's
guess
good for
it's
that.
just Greg Pack over on Mastodon by himself. I think I don't know.
Yeah, I don't hear people like I know Threads came out and people were like, oh, maybe that. They're like that's boring. Like Threads is so boring. Like it
Yeah,
doesn't even do it. It's just all these Twitter ripoffs instead of doing something different.
yeah,
But yeah, you can find me on any social media at the Steve Urena, SteveUrena. That's where I'll be. I tried doing TikTok, which I don't know. That's even harder too because it's not so much that it's just they don't let you add links to
yeah. It
anything
sucks.
unless you have like a
Sucks.
million followers. So it's and that's where the people are. So it's figuring it out. It's hopefully we can work something out. But that's where you can find me.
Yeah, it seems because you used to be able to like put a link in the comments, but like you actually have to like copy and paste it.
Yeah, and a lot of
Like,
people are
and
on their
it's not
phone.
easy.
I don't think they're doing that. I just
Yeah,
don't think kids are
you
gonna do that.
gotta
We're gonna
you
do that.
gotta you gotta do like the custom you gotta set up like a domain so you can
Yeah.
do like the vanity URLs
Yes, exactly.
like how instead of me saying like go to substack.blakesbuzz.com, I can
Yeah,
say go to
like suppose like
blakesbuzz.com. It takes you to my
that's easy.
Substack. So that's but and just like you could do like if you had steveurena.com or something,
Yeah,
you could
that's
say
easy.
like steveurena.com/Kickstarter, and that'll
Yeah,
take you to your most current. That's the way to do it. It costs a little bit of extra money, nothing crazy,
yeah,
but it's just a couple extra steps that you can do. You can also do like the bit.ly links, but then you're
yes,
still relying on people like pausing the screen and typing that link into the
yes.
browser, and it's just like you can't rely on people to do that. So anyway, but yeah, there's a way to do it. As we mentioned, navigating these new social fields is is
Yeah,
a is
a
a challenge,
a
and it's all
social
it's all
minefield.
trial and error. But I do like TikTok, and I've been seeing you post some videos. I need to get back. I do a lot of stuff, and at the end of the day, I don't want to make a video. Like I bought the green screen. I can make really clean green screen videos where I like put the art behind me, and I got the wireless mics and stuff. And I need to get back into it. It's just like it takes time, and some days I just don't want to do it, right?
Yeah.
But I need to get out. I need to get out of that mentality because, like, guess what? If you're gonna be a streamer and you're gonna do the social media, and this is gonna be your life, then you just gotta fucking do
Yeah,
it,
you
right?
just
But
gotta
yeah,
do it.
but I did notice you're doing some what was it you did the we're halfway there, like
That's right.
I saw that one today. Uh, but so yeah, follow Steve. He's a good dude to follow. He's a good dude to keep track of. People that are watching this, there's a link in the info for the show that has the link to Steve's campaign in it. So like on YouTube and stuff, that link will work for you. You go to the more info on the video. There's a link there to get you to his Kickstarter campaign. If you follow him on social media, Steve's real good about posting it and stuff on his profiles too. Campaign's easy to find. Also, if you just Google foul mouth Kickstarter, it'll get you where you need to go. It's like the first thing that pops up, so it's super easy to find. Really, really encourage you guys to check it out. It looks like a blast. And like I said, if you're new to Steve, you gotta snag those back issues. You gotta check out the other stuff he's been doing. Get you some cool T-shirts and bumpers. Just dump all your fucking money. Steve's campaign. Let's get this thing funded. He runs these 60-day campaigns that are exhausting, and it's like let's just get it. Let's get him there so he can like ride out the summer of Steve in a nice and easy way into the fall of Urena. Sounds
That's
like an X. That sounds like an X-Men comic.
it could be I mean, I'm loving all these comics now that have these long ass titles, like something is killing the children. Like, you know what I mean? I'm waiting for the title to do these long ass things. It's like, oh, the superhero who gets her powers from cursing. Like, you know what I mean? And like,
Oh yeah, I used to make fun of those, but they stick out,
they do
right? It's
stick.
like
You know, yeah,
even if you're not the biggest fan, like if you haven't read Something is Killing the Children, where the fuck you been? But like
yeah,
if you haven't read it, you've heard of it, right?
yes,
And or like the Me You Love in the Dark, that Scotty Young, that image book that he put out, that's supposed to be pretty cool. So like you know you make jokes about him, but you think about marketing, right? And at the end of the day, like if you know this title, right, and it's in
yeah.
your head and you
That's
can't get rid
true.
of it, it's good
Also,
marketing.
one of the coolest moments of I got Slowpokes into a comic shop. I got it into Pulp 716, which was
Oh,
pretty
nice.
awesome.
That's a cool
But
shop.
they put it right next to Something is Killing the Children, and I was like, that means I made it, because that James Tynion is one of my
Yeah.
favorite writers. I love all his stuff. The Nice House, or the House on the Lake.
Hmm.
That just fantastic. So if I can be as good as him one day, or half as good as him, I'll be set.
Yeah. I need to read volume 2 of Nice House on the Lake, and I also need to catch up with World Tree. I really liked that first issue, and I haven't got a chance.
Another hard thing about comics too is just finding what's good. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
Hmm.
there's so much good stuff out there. It's like I wish there was a better way to navigate that, because I know that
Yeah.
there's a million comic sites or whatever, but like I just want, like, hey, this is good, you know what I mean? Like Goodreads has all this stuff. I guess you could
Hmm.
probably find it on there. But I just feel like it's such a weird space of comics, because there's superhero stuff, there's indie stuff, there's horror stuff, but like I just want, I don't know. Maybe there should be an app like that where it's like, hey, you might like this, like that type,
Oh yeah,
like
when you
Pandora.
put in it comes up like you build an algorithm, like when you
Yeah,
make an account, it like shows you all these comics and you select what you like and then it
yeah.
starts. Yeah.
I think there might be something there.
An algorithm that works for comics. That
Yeah,
sounds impossible. Like that
I don't know. I think well, yeah, because I feel like if people
yeah,
mess with,
I feel like all we're doing is fighting against the algorithm like continuously. Like the algorithm's ruining our lives. But no, that would be cool. That's if anybody's out there steal Steve and I's
yeah,
idea
yeah,
right now, like if you can make that app go, because I know they do it for. I use this Just Watch app that you put all your streamer the subscription services you have, and it tells you what's on the services you subscribe to. You can search for movies and it'll tell you like the cheapest place to rent it or what it's streaming on, and
mhm,
then but it also does the same thing where when you make an account, it shows you all these random movies. You start selecting movies, it shows you a different round of movies. It kind of gets to know what you like a little
yeah,
bit, and it'll recommend you stuff, and it's cool because it recommends you stuff like if you don't subscribe to Showtime, it won't recommend you stuff that's on
because you don't have
Showtime
it.
because
Yeah,
it knows. And so yeah, like you you would think you could do something like that with comics, but like yeah, that stuff's beyond me. I just read them and talk about them.
Yeah, word of mouth still works. It's just
Yeah,
I'm late to the game. There's so much I've missed that
dude,
I'm
I am too. It's hard. Like, I'm always worried like people are gonna take me off their press list because I don't write reviews as much anymore. And then humanoids has been sending me like physical, like I get like physical copies of their new books now, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta find time to cover these because I want to keep getting free shit, right? I want the books. I got a Titan sent me Jamie Lee Curtis's new graphic novel, Mother Nature, that I just reviewed, and like I want to keep getting stuff. Like it's cool to get that stuff in the mail, but I also know that like eventually they're going to be like, we're not going to send this guy books anymore if he doesn't talk about them. So anyways, but that's different. That's just the hard life of comic book press,
That's right.
right there for you, ladies and gentlemen.
The comic life. That's right.
Yeah, the comic life. Well, everybody who's been in the chat, like, thank you all so much. Steve, thank you yet again for putting up with me for
Thank
another
you.
time. And I was serious, man. Like, you always got a home at Blake's Buzz, dude. Like, whatever the next book is, whatever the new project is. Shit, if you're ever bored one day and you just want to get something off your chest, like, I always got a home here for you. Love to
Awesome.
have you on.
Thank you.
Give Steve a follow. Please check out Foul Mouth. Like I really think this is going to be a special, wild and crazy fun comic. And I think Steve's bringing the sauce. Um, let's see. Ronan says, "Good luck with the campaign. Can't wait to read it."
Thank
And yeah,
you.
yes, yeah. That Jamie Lee Curtis has a new comic out from Titan called Mother Nature. It's a pretty rad. It's pretty. I just wrote a review. Check it out, blakesbuzz.com. It was a fun read. Really beautiful art. Was I tagged Jamie on all the socials. I was like, man, how cool would it be if Jamie like retweeted me for like writing the thing? That's fine. It's fine. I didn't think it would, but I was like, it'd be kind of cool if it did. But no, it is a cool comic. It came out yesterday. Worth checking out. Really nice hardcover. It's and a good ecological horror narrative and a good reminder of like we kind of suck as a species and really should take better care of this planet. But yeah, it's very different, very off the wall, kind of wild, and did not know what to expect when you hear like it was like an adaptation of like a screenplay she wrote when she was like 19. I don't know. I know
Wow.
it's Steve. Steve's like, this is great. Let's talk about Jamie Lee Curtis's
Listen, I'll talk about
comic
Jamie
on
Lee
my
Curtis.
on my
I
on
love,
my interview.
I love the Halloween movies, Freaky Fridays. You know what I mean? The fact that she's doing comics, that's pretty cool.
It is cool. Yeah. There's apparent like Entertainment Weekly or someone did an interview with her and asked if people still put on hockey masks to scare her,
It's
and
like
she
great.
and she looked at this guy like,
You
"What's wrong
fucking
with
kidding me?
you?" Yeah, it was so funny. But yeah, anyways, yeah, check that out. But more importantly, check out Steve's books. They're worth your time. No, you won't like. I challenge you to read Steve's books and read it because I don't see that happening. What do I know though? I'm just Blake. But yeah, Steve, like I'm so glad like the summer of Steve has been treating you well, and I'm glad you got a new project on the shelves, and I'm sure you got other stuff up your sleeves, getting ready to plan for later, and um, I'm always excited about what you bring to the table, man. And I got everybody in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Uh, you know, share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow us both. We sure appreciate it when you do. I always remember love more, hate less, read comics. That's the way to be. That's the thing to do. Um, and don't buy my T-shirts from those weird websites that
Yeah.
stole from me. There's like 20 of them, and you know, don't. Don't fuckers. But no, it's yeah. There also there's going to be new T-shirts and stuff coming soon with like the new B and the new logo and some cool stuff like that. There's going to be a new Love More Hate Less Read comic shirt. So I just got to do it. I
You'll
just
be
got to
great.
do it.
You've
Just got
come
to
this
do it.
far. You've come this far. Just imagine how much further you're gonna go.
It's a journey that it's always a surprise and no regrets, right?
No
I
regrets, man.
love it. I love it, and I have no idea what I would do with my life if I didn't like comic books during the day, comic book streaming at night. I'm a very lucky person. and I get to do
That's
what I get to do what I love, and it's awesome. But yeah, anyways, enough of that cheesy stuff. Everybody, hope you have a great night. Steve, unless you got anything else to throw out there, I'm gonna play the music and set you free, buddy.
All right, set me free. Let's do it. Thank you. Thank you so much for everybody for listening.
Thanks, everybody.
It's Blake's Buzz Live.